Hello, my name is Travis Newbill. I live and work here at Shambhala Mountain Center, where we're already looking forward to hosting our what is now an annual tradition New Year's program called Take a Leap. This year's edition, Take a Leap into 2015. Establish your intention and commitment, and that's led, as always, by Jon Barbieri from December 30th through January 1st, so taking you into the new year. Jon Barbieri was part of the first Shambhala directors training with Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche in the late 1970s. Since then, he's taught extensively throughout North America. He's been engaged in several livelihood pursuits, including being consultant to cities and counties on workforce development and creation of contemplative co-housing communities. And he was also the executive director of Shambhala Mountain Center. And he was when I first arrived here. So I've had the joy of knowing Jon for a little while now, and I'm so glad to have him on the line here today for some conversation. Jon, thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Good, yeah, kind of here. Here you are, kind of
here
at Shambhala Mountain Center right now.
Yeah.
So this program, establish your intention and commitment, and the word that is not in there, which is typically associated with New Year's in the culture that I was brought up in, is resolution, which sort of has this flavor of almost a cynical, stereotypical flavor of setting yourself up for failure. You may say something about contrast the typical "I'm never going to eat cake again," and then I do, a few weeks later, approach with the approach that you encourage in your workshops.
Yeah. Well, as you said, this whole idea of resolution doesn't work. And so many of us have tried that, as if suddenly, after X amount of decades of habitual patterns or things that we're doing, that we're simply going to resolve, that we're going to stop that. And if we look at ourselves honestly, and in general, meaning that we don't actually operate like that as human beings. So the whole idea with this is more of one of renewal. And it's interesting, if you go back to the beginnings of New Year's resolutions, resolutions actually are said to have started around 150 BCE in Rome. And the god was Janus, which then became January. And the notion of Janus was that he had two heads. He was looking behind him, and he was looking in front of himself. And renewal, which is the entryway, if you will, to me, to not looking so much as resolution and resolving, but more of we're actually renewing each year. And there's somebody already here. So we're not just simply throwing out the old, bringing in the new. We're actually being realistic and staying in touch with our heart about we're here. And because we're here, then that's where we begin on this, what we're going to do next year, as well as when you say renewal, there's something more to it. There's something further to it. You're renewing and you're going forward. Science is very interesting these days because we've always known that cells reproduce themselves all the time. Blood reproduces itself all the time. And now what they're beginning to say, which they didn't really completely appreciate before, is that the brain also renews itself all the time. There's a constant creation of new cells. And not only that, but depending upon how you use your mind and how you think and how your emotions are expressed, you're building pathways and building up cells with certain qualities. So a simple example is they've done some research where they go, okay, we're going to focus on compassion. And what they wind up seeing is that there's literally highways being developed in the brain that go to certain parts of the brain and then strengthen those parts. So we're nourishing ourselves. So this quality of how to renew then takes us to aspiration versus resolution. And when we aspire, we have to begin with where we are. So that's the same quality as renewal. We begin with the ground. And at the same time, we have a sense of what we could do, what we could be. And that's very heartfelt, and we really sort of uh, can envision that. Actually, we can just about taste it. But there's a journey there, which is what we usually don't really pay attention to. We're here, we're going there. There's very few things we can say we're going to drop as of right now. I'm going to stop doing this. And actually, that's important. You know, you could say smoking is like that. But almost everything else is really a transformative journey rather than, I changed. Everything you saw for the last 20, 40, 60 years is gone, and here I am, the new me. We're so human, and we have so many rich and incredible qualities. Our inherent nature is to be intelligent, has intelligence, and it also has empathy and caring for others and compassion. We don't generally spend time the way we do with our bodies nourishing that. We nourish our bodies, but we don't spend time nourishing our mind and bringing out what our inherent nature is. So this is an incredible opportunity in this program to do that. And we can be heartfelt about how we travel, how we conduct ourselves, and that an important aspect of what we aspire towards is that we see it as a journey, so that then the journey itself begins to embody the very thing we're trying to aspire towards, which is fantastic. Because in other words, we're able to start being, if you use the science analogy, and I'm not very good at science, but they write this up, you're strengthening something as you're heading towards it. You're building it. The more you do it, the more you actually allow it to seep within yourself and you express yourself. So therefore, the journey itself becomes an integral part of the transformation. It's not just here today, there I am tomorrow. And as we do that, we're not just, again, throwing out the old, rejecting it, bringing in the new, but we're transforming it and we're using it as a stepping stone. Mm-hmm. And that's so much more human and so much more real. And it really, instead of creating struggle and fights and judgment calls about I'm bad, I'm good, I didn't do that, I didn't, oh, look at my vow, it's 1 month later, it's gone. Mm-hmm. We're being real, and we're really touching ourselves, and we're being honest with ourselves, and we're simply being, and we're working with everything in our life. So that's why we use mindfulness, meditation, because that allows us to slow down, and I think every single one of us feel the incredible, however you want to describe it, demands, speed, fragmentation, how many different ways can we be pulled? It used to be that we got 2,000 bits of information, data, sent our way in a day. I don't know what the number is now, but I'll bet it's more than 2,000. And how do we hold our mind without getting completely scattered? Well, generally we don't. You know, we try to be in more than one place at a time, and that's actually impossible. They've even done studies with that in science that says when you multitask, your efficiency goes down 20%. Mm-hmm. Mind cannot be in two places at once. We can go so fast that we feel like we're addressing things, but as we do that, we're reducing our presence. So mindfulness is establishing a way to be with ourselves, become familiar with our mind, how we work, how it works, and how to be present in the moment. And what we simultaneously notice is we can touch in with this sense of fundamental calm, peace, quality, which we have, which is also inherent to us along with compassion. And we also begin to recognize, oh my gosh, I'm going everywhere except being here. I'm thinking about yesterday, I'm thinking about tomorrow, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, but I'm not actually present in this moment to experience my life. So we bring that in and use our intelligence and use our heart to really understand where we are, what we need to leave behind, not in the sense of it's over with, but we're going to work on refraining because we see more clearly through our meditation how something impacts us. We see that it can be unhealthy either to our mind or our body.
Mhm.
And the more we see that, and the more time we spend with ourselves, and that sometimes is challenging, but it's also fantastic that we are actually, for the first time maybe, for some of us, allowing the time to take for ourselves to be where we are and to see where we are.
Mhm.
Once we do that, we actually can move. Until that, we go around actually in large and small circles because we haven't stopped long enough to be where we are. So we use mindfulness, and then we also use contemplations and reflection, which is that same quality of once we begin seeing, we also see how we've gotten off the road towards our aspiration. And the more aware we are, and that's the key to mindfulness. It's the key, by the way, to how mindfulness is now being used even in businesses, saying the more you are aware of yourself, the more you are aware of your emotions, such as empathy, the better your work will be, the better leader you will be. Well, we're going even beyond that and saying the better you will be whole as a human being, not simply being more effective in our day-to-day work situation, but will actually be more present and more whole and complete, more communication, and actually experience the moments of our lives and the important things in our lives. So reflection and contemplation is very important because it's another avenue of how to feel and look at these things and reflect on them. And then all of that just becomes part of the journey, part of the road that we travel on. And um, it is the more we understand, the more we are aware, the more we actually experience our lives, including all the ups and downs. Actually, we have to bring those along. There is no way to actually eliminate them. They are part of life.
Mhm.
But the more we're with them, then the more alive we are. And the more we begin to understand what our nature is as human beings and what we need to cultivate and what we need to see more clearly about what is harmful and how we can work with that in a very gentle but direct way. And the next year can be a definite step towards our aspirations and our embodiment and our progress, and we celebrate. So that's the last part I'd like to touch on. We completely celebrate. We celebrate that we're human beings and we're completely worthy and good. And yes, we make all kinds of mistakes. So when you fall off the horse, you simply use that momentum to bring yourself back up to the horse.
Mhm.
It's not like you're trying to avoid or ignore when we do make mistakes or when we go off the road. No, that's what we learn from. That's why everything we do becomes an actual stepping stone of how to head further towards our aspiration. So, and by the way, the celebration that we have for New Year's is marvelous, incredible. Uh, and this is now, I think, our fourth year, and I can't think of anyone who has ever said, "Gee, that was something. That wasn't really a New Year's. I mean, that was more like a mind-blowing New Year's." Um,
Huh.
it really captured, in a heartfelt way, both the incredible contemplative environment that Shambhala Mountain Center provides, amazing place to do this kind of program, an amazing place to take care of oneself and be with oneself and nourish and cultivate those qualities that we have, and also have a wonderful celebration.
Mhm.
So you have to
I think
come,
that
Travis. You have to come, Travis.
I live here, so I'll likely be around. But one question I have about all of this, so many things that you said just immediately, seem to just sit right. That we need to take some more time to just be with ourselves,
Yeah.
and we're going to do things in a real sort of way, and something about self-reflection and contemplation.
Yeah.
And then there's this mindfulness piece. And the question that I have related to that is, I wonder if some people who, are hearing the other parts and saying, yes, yes, I know, I need to spend time doing that. And then the mindfulness bit, is this program, for experienced meditators, and or for people who are maybe a little bit curious about it, or maybe a little bit intimidated by meditation. And so, who is this? Who may come in and really have a good experience here?
Yeah, good question. Well, everybody, all. The programs in the past have had people who have never done any type of mindfulness or meditation practice before. Every program has had actually probably at least half the people in that. That's how they walk in. And then from that, the other half is everywhere from I've done some, I've done a fair amount, to I've actually done a lot. But what we're doing in this is we're utilizing this practice, and it's not hard to learn. Now, having said that, I can say it can be challenging because we're so unused to being present. We're so used to being fragmented and running after the next distraction. I was reading something the other day. Al Gore said this 12 years ago. We have a culture of distraction. We're constantly being pulled away, or to look or entertain ourselves somewhere else other than where we are, simply being here. I think the atmosphere that Shambhala Mountain Center holds as a wonderful, not just the land, but the atmosphere itself that's there. It's been seeped in this kind of meditative and contemplative environment that spans all wisdom traditions. That people feel it, and at the same time, the pace we go, we try to cover a good amount of ground, but at the same time, there's space for people to take walks and to relax as a way of settling and as a way of opening up. And again, that's part of how unique it is for us to take the time to be kind to ourselves and spend some time with ourselves. So it's all part of that, and it's very, very accessible to everyone.
Well, I know that you spent a lot of time here. I spend almost all of my days here, and it is, as you described, just an environment to really connect with the environment itself and with oneself. And so I really hope that a lot of people that are tuning in now, watching this or listening to this, if you've been here and hope that you come back soon, hope that you come back for this program. And for those who've never been here, we warmly invite you to come up, and we're so looking forward to hosting you, John, and everyone who will be joining you for your year's program, which, I'll remind once again before we sign off, is December 30th through January 1st, and the title, Take a Leap into 2015, and also reflect on 2014. Establish your intention and commitment with Jon Barbieri, very wise and awesome teacher in our community. So, John, thank you so much for taking some time to share some of that wisdom and some of your flavor of teaching here today, and thank you.
You're welcome, Travis. Can I say one more last thing as well? The celebration. The dinner we have is absolutely fabulous. You would be hard-pressed to find it in another restaurant somewhere. And then on New Year's morning, we complete the program by going up to the stupa, and if you haven't seen it, it's a rather incredible facility, and that's where we actually take our vows, our aspirations for the next year. So thank you very much, Travis. This has been neat, as we used to say. Awesome, as we now say. Very, very much look forward to this year's program.
Great. Well, I'll be seeing you on the land probably before then, and for sure at that time. So once again, thanks to everybody for tuning in, and please visit our website, shambhalamountain.org. You can learn more about Take a Leap program, as well as all the other programs that we run, and you'll find lots of other interviews like this that we do a lot. So, looking forward to seeing you sometime on the land soon, and hopefully you'll be seeing me on the computer before then for more of our content. Mm-hmm. So, for now, enjoy, be well, and see you next time. Bye.